All right, one more page and then we're going to practice all these. This is page 3 of section 3, chapter 7, Banker's Rule. Simple interest for short-term loans sometimes is computed in days. Many lending institutions still use what is called the Banker's Rule to compute their interest. They say it's easier to compute, but it's actually slightly more expensive for the consumer and better for the banker. So, there's no rush to change that. The larger the loan, the bigger the difference. Each month is considered to have exactly 30 days, making a year 360 days. So they think about a 30-day loan is 30 divided by 360. A 90-day loan is divided by 360, etc. So if your fractional time converts to a repeating decimal, leave it as a fraction and multiply the numerator by P and R and then divide by the denominator. Otherwise, your answer will be a little off. So let me explain that. Here's an example here. Find the true interest on a $2,200 loan at 7% interest for 100 days. Use the banker's rule. Please note that when you're going through your homework. And then compare the amount of interest using the 365 days. So something that stays the same through here. And this is 100 days. So that is your T at the moment. So you're going to use 100 days over 360 for your 30-day banker's rule. Okay. So find I. Remember, this is still a year when you put 100 over that. So this is P times R times T. And here, let me write this out. When you're handwriting it, it's this times 0.07 times 100 over 360. Yes. But as it states here, what you can do is multiply everything in the numerator together. Okay, keep that in your calculator and then divide by 360. That'll give you the 42.7 repeating. Okay, which would round this last digit to 8 if you round it to the cents. This one here, you do that same number divided by 365, you will get this number, which is a slightly lower payment, is all they're trying to point out. Okay. So finding the true rate of a discounted loan. Sometimes an interest on a loan is paid up front by deducting the amount of interest from the bank, the amount the bank gives you. Let me read that again. Sometimes the interest on the loan is paid up front by deducting the amount of interest from the amount the bank gives you. So they just immediately get their money back. Okay. And then you have to pay everything else off. This is called a discount loan. The interest is deducted from the amount you received is called the discount. Calling it a discount loan is the way lenders make it seem like a good thing, even though it actually turns out to be a higher interest rate. Okay. By taking the interest out of the amount you borrow, you're borrowing less at the same rate, giving their money up front to the lender. Okay. So for example, Cameron obtained a $5,000 discounted loan for 3 years at 6% simple interest. Find the amount of discount. Well, that means that's code for what's the interest. So principal times rate times time for 3 years. Multiply this together, you get $900. That's the amount of discount or interest. Okay. It's called a discount because it's then deducted from what you're borrowing. Okay. And find out that even though you said you're borrowing $5,000, they're only going to give you $4,100 because they're going to immediately take their interest from what they gave you. Okay. Before you even so you don't even get to touch it. Okay. Find the true interest rate for them doing that. So that means the principal that you're getting isn't 5,000. It's 5,000 minus the 900. So 4,100 times rate times 3. So if we're looking for a new rate, and this is the interest, right? Just go ahead and plug the I in. This is P, this is R, this is T. With the new principal, multiply the 4,100 times, hold on, 4,100 times 3 is 12,300R, and then divide both sides. And you're going to get this here, which is this. You multiply that by 100, and that'll give you your interest rate. Okay, so even though it's called a 6% simple interest rate, it's a discounted loan. Therefore, you're actually paying a higher interest rate than it appears. Okay, so let's see if we can do some of these examples on the next page here. All right, in addition to working and her family's contribution, Jane had to borrow $8,000 over the course of 6 years to complete her education. Borrowed $8,000 over the course of 6 years to complete her education. The interest is, the I is, find the rate. So the rate is missing. So this is, the interest is a lot. So she must have borrowed a lot. 0.4 equals the principal, which we don't, $8,000. $8,000. I'm sorry, I should write this down. I equals PRT. What is R? We don't know what R is. And T is 6 years. Okay, step 1. What is 8,000 times 6 is 48,000 R. And then we're going to divide by both sides by 48,000. So that is 4046.4 divided by 4800. And you're going to get a rate of 0.0843, which is 8.43% when you multiply it by 100. Okay. Bird car rental, borrowed principal of 8,650 at an interest, at an interest rate of 6.8, which is 0.068, to cover the increased cost of auto insurance. Find the term of the loan if the interest is 41415. Okay, so I equals PRT. I is 441.15 equals P8650 times 0.068 times T, which I don't know. So I'm going to multiply these two together. 588.20 T. I think I'm writing too big for this little tiny spaces. Divide both sides by 588. And you're going to get T equals 0.75. So 75% of a year, is how many months? You can just times it by 12 and you'll get 9 months for the term. Okay, 75% of 12 months. Bunch of different ways to do that. I just multiply by 12 seems to be the easiest thing for me, because you could get 9.5 or whatever. And this will tell you. It doesn't say years, so it's either 0.75 years or 9 months. It really doesn't say what it wants, so be careful on that one. Appliances borrowed this much for 3 years, 6%. Find the future value, or A. So if we went straight for it, we could use A equals P plus I, or A equals P times 1 plus RT. And I can use the I equals PRT for that. That's typically what I do, I have to say. I have the PRT down. I use that a lot. You have to know that for sure. So 3 years. So that comes out to, and we need to add that's your interest, and you need to add the P to it, which was 6200. So A equals 7316 is your future value of the loan. Interest plus principal, that's all. Celia's car needed a new transmission. She got a bill for $1,800. That is your P. Dealership offers her an 18-month loan. 18 months is your T. We'll look at that in a second. The interest is a 12.9%, or 0.129. 18 months is divided by 12. You're going to get your 1.5 or 1.5 equals T. So then I make sure what they're looking for. They're looking for a monthly payment. So what do we have to do for that? We have to find our total charge, or a future value, or however you want to say. I need A, so I can divide A by the months. So I can find I first. 18 principal times the rate times the term. I is going to be 34.30. And if you add that to the 1800, you're going to get the A. I should write it separately. I was just a little short on room here. A equals P plus I, which is 1800 plus 348.30. Remember, there's a couple ways to do this. Just show me your work, your process, please, on the test. You must put something. You pick up your calculator, you need to write something down to show what you put in your calculator. Okay, so this is how much this whole transaction is going to cost her. Okay, and she needs to pay it over 18 months. So that number divided by 18 is her payment, monthly payment. So she pays that number off in 18 months. Okay, so they wanted, that's their final answer. So they didn't want to know the interest. They wanted nothing but the payment. So be careful which one they're asking for. New laptop, 3-year payment plan, low monthly payments. Sorry, that's another reminder that my class is starting soon. Okay, let me finish this video here. 3-year payment plan, 3 years. 3 years. Which is 36 months. So my principal right here, let's see, okay, find interest rate. So I don't know R. monthly payments. So they gave me the monthly payments, so I need to work back. If you have the monthly payments, okay, and you're paying it for 3 years, you're paying that 36 times. So that's going to be 12, 31, 20. Try to use your logic with this, okay? This is your future amount, okay? This is really how you're backing into figuring out A. And you had to, because you paid this 36 times, that's how much you're paying for that laptop. If you subtract the principal from it, you're going to get your I, okay, which is 3, 4, 6, 9, 1. That's your interest, not the rate, okay? So if that's the interest, there's a couple ways to do this. I'm just going to keep sticking to my I equals PRT. This times this is going to be 265,287R. Divide both sides. R is going to equal 0.13076 or approximately 13.1% rate. So try to use a little common sense about that. That one was a little more difficult. Work your way back, pull out what you need, okay? I'll try to put one of every different kind you might be asked in here. So I need you to critically think about these. Let's see, borrowed that for so many 20 days. I have to think about that for a minute. This is my R. Find the interest using the banker's rule, 30-day, 360 for a year. So let's see, if I stick with the I equals P, R, T, 120 days out of 360 for banker's rule. Remember, you can multiply all three of these together and then divide by 360. So payment of $21.38 per month. Okay. Sorry, going so fast. Last one. It's a discounted loan. Discounted loan. Remember what happens with discounted loan? You get to you have to pay your interest up front, so you're not going to be handed $20,000. 3 years, 9%. Find the discount, the amount of money received, and the true interest rate. Okay, so I equals PRT. 20,000 was the principal. Rate was 9% for 3 years. I is going to be 5400. That is the interest or discount. Okay, 20,000 minus the 5400 is going to give you 14,600. That is the amount received, right? When you got the loan, they take off theirs, hand you what's left, and that's what you're going to be financing. So if you're paying this, that's your interest. The principal then that you're financing that you have to make payments on is what's left. I don't know what that's going to be for a rate. That's what I'm going to figure out. So this is going to be 43800R. 43800. 43800. R is going to be 0.1232 or approximately 12.32% or 12%. There's no rounding instructions here. So whatever it says. Okay.